You need more power. I remember standing on the edge of the ring, watching competitors move through their forms with sharp precision. Back then, tournaments weren't really my thing. I liked forms well enough, but sparring, that was where I felt alive. Sparring was strategy, timing, a game of chess. Forms? That felt like something I just had to get through. At the time, I was a first-degree black belt, but no matter how hard I worked, I couldn't seem to break through in forms competition. I'd step onto the floor, perform what I thought was solid work, and still fall short. Meanwhile, in sparring, I held my own without much trouble. That contrast stayed with me. After my first tournament, frustrated and searching for answers, I went to my instructor. "Sir, what do I need to do to get a 9 on my form?" He didn't hesitate. "Mr. Houth, you need more power." That was it. No long explanation, no breakdown, just that. So I went to work. For the next 3 months, I trained harder than I ever had. I put everything into my forms, stronger stances, sharper strikes, more intensity. In my mind, I had figured it out. Tournament day came. I stepped onto the floor confident, delivered my form with everything I had, and waited. 8, 8, 8. I remember the feeling, not anger, just confusion. I had done exactly what I thought he meant. I went back to my instructor. "Sir, what am I missing?" He looked at me the same way and said again, "You need more power." This time, I doubled down. If power was the answer, I was going to outwork everyone. I started running. I cleaned up my diet. I increased my push-ups. I lifted weights. I pushed my body further than I thought I could go. Another 3 months, another tournament. This time, I was certain. I performed harder, stronger, more explosive than ever before. 8, 8, 8. 4th place, maybe 5th. That one hit differently. I remember standing there thinking, maybe this just isn't for me. Maybe forms competition wasn't something I was built for. I had done everything I could think of. I had followed instructions. I had outworked myself. Still, I went back one more time. "Sir, what do I need to do to get a 9? He sat me down, calm, direct. "Mr. Houth, you need more power." This time, I didn't argue, but something shifted. Before leaving, I stayed and watched. I studied the competitors who were consistently scoring 9s. I paid attention, not casually, but deliberately. Their timing, their control, the way they moved, their techniques were clean, precise, almost effortless. And I remember thinking, that doesn't look like power. In fact, it looks softer than what I was doing. Less force, less tension. That's not me, I thought. That's not power. But I was out of options, so I made a decision. I would try it their way. Back at the dojang, I changed everything. Not just my movements, but my mindset. I stopped trying to force power and started focusing on control, precision, rhythm, presentation. I mimicked what I had seen. I let go of what I thought it should look like. When the next tournament came around, I didn't feel confident. I felt different, even a little weak. But I stepped onto the floor anyway. I performed the form, not the old way, not the forced way, but the new way, controlled, intentional, complete. I finished, stood still, and waited. 9, 9, 9. For a moment, I didn't react. I just stood there trying to process what had happened. First place? In a strong division. That's when it finally clicked. My instructor wasn't talking about physical power, not the way I understood it. He was talking about something deeper. Presence, expression, an edge, the ability to tell a story through movement, to command attention without forcing it. That was power. From that point on, everything changed. I took that version of my form on the road, refining it, trusting it. That year, I placed in the top 10 third-degree black belts in the nation. Looking back, the lesson is simple, but not easy. If you want to grow, you can't just work harder at what you already believe. You have to observe what works. You have to adapt. And sometimes you have to let go of what you think is a strength to discover what actually is. That realization didn't come in the moment. It came later, quietly, in the middle of the night. And that was the beginning of page 18 in the Black Belt Handbook.